People say tragedy brings out the truth, and with Erika Kirk, that truth didn't just surface, it erupted. It revealed a hunger for luxury, influence, and power that had been waiting in the shadows. And the moment Charlie Kirk was gone, her real nature stepped into full light. A life dripping with extraordinary privilege. Today we're taking you inside the trillionaire life of Erika Kirk, the girl who always wanted more. I've watched Erika long enough to say this with absolute confidence. Nothing about the woman you see today is new. Her choices didn't magically appear after Charlie's death, and her taste for wealth didn't suddenly bloom. If anything, the life she's living now is simply the loudest, boldest version of a pattern she's carried quietly for years. And if you trace her story from the very beginning, you'll see it, just like I did. Erika grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona, a city that doesn't need to try to shine. Think massive homes hidden behind tall gates, long driveways lined with luxury cars, a neighborhood where comfort is the baseline and extravagance is normal. Erika wasn't just near that world, she was shaped by it. Watchful, calm, polished. A young woman who didn't just admire beautiful things, she wanted every single one of them. People say greed is learned. In Erika's story, greed wasn't learned. It was inherited. Not just through money, but through worldview. And you could see it early in how she positioned herself for every opportunity, every doorway that led upward. Her father, Kent France, worked for the U.S. Department of Defense. Her mother, Loretta Ann France, served in Homeland Security. Her grandfather was the vice president of American Banknote Company. When you grow up watching your family make millions through defense contracts, global deals, and political alliances, giving back doesn't always look like sacrifice. Sometimes it looks like branding. If you're watching this far, please click like to support the channel, leave a comment sharing your thoughts about Erika Kirk, and remember to subscribe to not miss the next parts of this story. Let me ask you this. Why do you think Erika founded Romanian Angels, an orphan ministry in Constanța, Romania, partnering with U.S. Marines and Army personnel when she was just 17? And please, don't say it was pure charity. People never bought that story. Here's the truth. Online investigators raised serious accusations, suggesting the program was tied to child trafficking, alleging that vulnerable children were being funneled to the UK or Israel under the mask of humanitarian aid. No arrests, no official charges, yet the cloud of suspicion never left. For me, that was the first real sign, not of compassion, but of calculation. A move rooted in strategy and ambition. Because from that moment on, every step in Erika's life pointed in one direction, upward, toward influence, access, and power. And then came something even stranger. On her 23rd birthday, Erika won the title of Miss Arizona USA, despite having zero experience, zero training, zero background in pageantry. And remember, this was a Trump-owned pageant system, often criticized for opening doors to wealthy elite circles. So you have to wonder, how does someone rise that fast? Then Erika met Charlie Kirk. And if you know how that meeting happened, you already sense where this story is headed. She met him in 2018 during a job interview. Who walks into an interview and walks out with a future husband? By 2019, they were dating, and even the blind could feel that something was off. Charlie, already a major figure running Turning Point USA, fell quickly, openly declaring Erika was the one. But Erika? Her approach was different. You could see it in the interviews, the photos, the early appearances. She wasn't swept up by emotion. She wasn't dazzled. She was controlled, steady, almost analytical, like someone evaluating not just a romantic partner, but the entire lifestyle attached to him. She labeled it true love, yet from where I stood, it looked a lot more like she had just hit the jackpot. And right after that, everything began falling into place, almost like a plan that had been waiting for its moment. Erika wanted the world to witness a love story that looked flawless, almost heavenly, as if every moment between her and Charlie had been written by fate itself. She spoke of him as the man she had prayed for. To me, it always felt less like destiny, and more like she had struck gold. Now here's where things get interesting. When Erika married Charlie in May 2021, it appeared, at least on the outside, to be the perfect ending to a picture-perfect romance. A ceremony drenched in faith, her mother adjusting her gown with delicate hands, and Erika smiling as if every whispered prayer had finally been granted. Online, she called it a faith-filled journey. Charlie described it as his favorite love story to his daughter, and people believed them because the photos were stunning and the words were tender. But I watched that marriage closely, and beneath all the softness, I could still see the same pattern. Erika stepping deeper into a life that offered exactly what she had always wanted: influence, wealth, a rapidly growing organization, and a man whose purpose kept expanding, right along with her own lifestyle. They had 2 children, and Erika embraced the image of the devoted wife and mother. Every post, every caption, every public appearance felt polished, intentional, rehearsed to near perfection. But everything shifted the moment Charlie died, and that's where the real story begins, the story of the widow. Pay close attention here, because this is the part most people overlook, yet it reveals the most about who Erika truly is. Right after Charlie Kirk was killed in that brutal, very public attack, the world froze for a moment, trying to process the sudden loss of a young man with so much ahead of him. Everyone expected a broken widow, silent, grieving, hidden away, struggling to stand under the weight of fresh tragedy. But Erika? That was the moment she stepped into the spotlight, with a level of polish, confidence, and speed that stunned even her supporters. For starters, just days after Charlie's death, days not weeks, Erika was already back on stage, fully composed, speaking at a Turning Point event as if nothing had cracked her. And here's the part that stunned everyone. She showed up with flawless makeup, perfectly styled hair, and a speech delivered so smoothly you'd think she had practiced it a year in advance. No trembling voice, no emotional collapse, not even the kind of distant stare you expect from someone who has just lost her husband in a violent public attack. People whispered. I heard them. How is she this calm? Why is she already holding press conferences? And honestly, I had the same questions. Because grief doesn't usually walk confidently in heels under studio lighting. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone mourns differently. But something about this moment felt like a turning point for Erika. And I mean that literally. I'm talking about the video she posted. The one showing her in an intimate moment beside Charlie's body in the casket. She kissed him, held his hands, filmed everything up close, almost like content meant for an audience rather than a private goodbye. No one knew how to respond. Some called it touching, but most people said what you're probably thinking right now: something about this feels off. Yet despite the backlash, Erika kept moving forward, almost too quickly. Not like someone grieving a tragedy, but like someone stepping into a role she had been preparing for. And then it all clicked. My suspicion was confirmed the moment her name was announced as the new CEO of Turning Point USA. Suddenly, everything lined up. All along, Erika wanted to be in charge, and now was the perfect moment to take the throne. But if you think that was surprising, just wait. Because Erika didn't simply move on. She upgraded. She ascended. And honestly, it wasn't even the CEO title that caught my attention. It was the lifestyle shift. Abrupt, dramatic, polished to perfection. A transformation so obvious, you didn't need a magnifying glass to notice it. If you find this part interesting, please click like, leave a comment to share your thoughts, and remember to subscribe to watch the next parts. All you had to do was pay attention the way I did, and follow the numbers. Before Charlie's death, Erika lived comfortably, maybe worth around $2 million from her podcast, modest real estate ventures, and that clothing brand she often promoted. Nothing massive, nothing shocking. But after Charlie passed, her net worth reportedly skyrocketed to $14 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. A jump like that doesn't just happen quietly, and it definitely doesn't happen without changing the way someone moves in the world. And trust me, Erika moved differently. The first thing that shifted was her fashion, not the colors, but the caliber. Suddenly, she was wearing the kind of outfits you don't simply buy, you curate. Designer jackets priced over $1,000, custom gowns for political galas, high-end dresses in every photo she posted. Even her streetwear brand, overnight, it transformed into a gold mine. Sweatshirts at $88, t-shirts at $55, baby blankets for $25. And the wild part? Her posts looked emotional at first glance, but when you looked again, they were practically quiet advertisements, and honestly, she knew exactly what she was doing. But here's where things really changed. Erika, who once traveled modestly by Charlie's side, began flying on private jets like they were Ubers, just months after his death. Washington for prayer events, Mississippi for campus appearances. And before anyone could even process the shift, she was boarding Air Force Two with Vice President J.D. Vance. These weren't quiet, grieving retreats. These were public moves, calculated, steady, intentional. And every time she appeared, she looked polished, prepared, confident, like a woman not slowed down by tragedy, but propelled by it. Without question, Erika is now living a trillionaire-style life. Remember their $4.75 million home in Scottsdale, the one she shared with Charlie? She sold it for $525 million, then upgraded to a $5.6 million estate with gardens and balconies clearly designed for hosting power players. That doesn't look like grief spending. That looks like advancement. I've watched families lose everything after a husband's death. But Erika? She gained more than most people do in a lifetime. Wealth, connections, influence, access, power, all in less than 3 months. So now that you've seen all of this, tell me, are we watching a widow rebuild her life? Or a woman finally stepping into the identity she planned all along? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this breakdown opened your eyes, make sure to like the video, comment your theory, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next.